And sitting next to him is we have Chuck D, American rapper, author. The accolades continue. Sitting to his right, we have Wallenta, the illustrator of the Public Enemy comic book, also known as To his right, we have Johnny Juice, longtime collaborator with PE and a number of notable To his right, we have Kyle Baker, illustrator of the Baker, and also Marvel's Truth graphic novel documenting the first Captain America, which was African American. We have Daryl DMC McDaniel here from Legendary. So everyone relax. We're going to Hey everybody. This panel is HIPHOP and Comics. Thank you all for coming here and for navigating through the question mark panel that was in the programming guide. So my name is Matt Powell. I am a contributor to Marvel.com and Wizard Magazine. I am the moderator for this panel today, which I am very blessed and gracious to be with the illustrious panelists that we have here. And I'll just go down the line and introduce everyone. Beginning first, we have James Bond, a member of the legendary and illustrious Public Enemy. Everybody give him a round of applause. And sitting next to him is we have Chuck D, American rapper, author. The accolades continue. Sitting to his right, we have Wallenta, the illustrator of the Public Enemy comic book, also known as To his right, we have Johnny Juice, longtime collaborator with PE and a number of notable To his right, we have Kyle Baker, illustrator of the Baker, and also Marvel's Truth graphic novel documenting the first Captain America, which was African American. We have Daryl DMC McDaniel here from Legendary. So everyone relax. We're going to have plenty of time for questions. I'm not going to speak too long, and we'll get started. The first question I want to have to approach the panel is, being that this is HIPHOP and Comics, hip-hop, since its inception, has been a vehicle of creative expression, and it's only natural that the music side of it would influence the visual side of comics. So I just want to approach everyone to see how has comics influenced you before you got into music, and why you want to your career in music now?
Well, being born in 1960 had a lot of advantages. It was a wild decade, and I grew up as a comic book fan. And of course, I got caught up by the whole Superman thing when I was a 3 or 4 or 5-year-old person, because that was an Americana. But as I became a little bit older, coming up in Queens and having cousins from the Bronx and Manhattan, you know, they were totally Marvel struck. And the thing about Marvel is that it was New York. And being that it was so New York centric, it was like a second nature to start to get caught up into this whole story about Spider-Man and the Fantastic Four. And then also I was, at that same time in the 60s, on Channel 9, which was back in the day, it was Channel 9 here in New York, they had the Marvel superheroes semi-animated thing where they had a still, and then all of a sudden the Hulk throws it across, and the next frame would be like, But, you know, everybody was drawing, you know, you had pencils and papers, so everybody drew comics. You know, I think Marvel being central in New York just set up a whole movement here that was kind of synergized into hip-hop kind of naturally in the 70s. You know, when you start talking about the originators of hip-hop, Africa Bambaataa, the Zulu Nation, Kool Herc and the Herculoids, you know, it comes out of that comic book nature. So when I started Public Enemy, I started from a comic book sensibility of names like Terminator X and Professor Griff and James Bond. You know, I built it from, I said, let's build some characters into this. And it comes out of that whole beginnings. So when I got into music, I took my comic book imagination with me. And of course, I graduated from college and from Adelphi in 1984. My degree was design. So I was a design major and I was an architect major as a high school kid. So that getting turned on by comics in the 60s turned me right on into